What's up, everyone? Sean here, and welcome to another episode of the Hawke Talks. This time I wanted to talk about one of the upcoming franchises that I've been really liking for a couple years now, which is the mobile game franchise Granblue Fantasy. Granblue Fantasy involves with some staff from Final Fantasy, or at least a few of them anyway, especially with the music. And it's one of those really popular franchises from Japan that's been also going strong, along with ones like Fate Grand Order as well. Even went through a big revamp of how they do gacha, or I guess you can say loot boxes. I don't know. I don't know what the Western side of things would say, but essentially, it's one of those franchises that has been going strong. Point being, it's one of those franchises that have been going very strong, and now they've been diverting off to other things like an actual multiplayer game at some point via Granblue Fantasy Relink, and now also a fighting game of Granblue Fantasy Versus, and of course that one has been getting some buzz as of late because of what I'm about to tell you guys. So the reason why I'm making this video or this episode here for the Hawke Talks is because of what's been going on with its release, and how it's being handled. So it was first announced to be early February, let's just say, at least for Japan only, and we expected for the game to come out around the same time when it was first announced, and all the info and whatever was said as of last, August or something like that, if I can remember correctly. They were gonna try to keep it close when it comes to the gap of things, and I think this is their first release when it comes to side games, releasing a fighting game of sorts, or just any other game in general, like an actual game release for consoles and stuff. And they said they were trying to keep it close when it comes to like releases and stuff like that. And so we're expecting to be around early February, but Exceed, who is handling the Western side of things, I guess, at least for US anyway, they're definitely handling it for the US, and Exceed hasn't really said anything. I've noticed that they haven't even allow us to pre-order it from the PlayStation Store. So I thought this was really weird. I don't know what's going on, and what's the holdup here? Why can't we pre-order it? Other than the official store, we can't even pre-order on the PlayStation Store. Then, as of recent, they finally announced the release date for the Western side of things, and unfortunately, it's coming out a month later, which people like myself kind of got a little rowdy about it. I personally was pretty soured about it, and reasons wasn't clearly said from Exceed. They've been pretty vague about it. They've been pretty vague about the DLC as well. So that leaves us very cautious as of right now, and concerned. First off, we're not getting quite the simultaneous release that we were hoping for. Sure, it's a month, so it could have been worse, sure, but initially we all thought that the dubbing and the localization was what took things longer than what they've hoped to project, seems like. And then, because these things do take time. Localizing the game, and the game does have some sort of RPG mode, and we all know that does take some time. We've seen that with Persona 5. We've seen that with other Japanese games. These things do take time. especially if you want to take it even further by dubbing it with English voices and stuff, or just multiple languages in general. And so that's what the general consensus was when it came to why the game was delayed for the Western side of things. But there was speculation that the Hong Kong version, or the Asia version, or the Asia region version of the game was reportedly featuring both the Japanese and the English voices in the game, which I thought, no, that couldn't be real. And so I just thought I passed it off as rumors and speculation, stuff like that. And I was just hoping, hey, the Western region or the Western version is gonna be the one with the English dub and stuff. So yeah, I guess that's one reason to wait for the game, right? And so the Hong Kong version released, right, / the Asia region copy was released to, of course, all of Asia, and of course the Japanese version as well in Japan has been released as I speak. And we all come to find out pretty much that the Hong Kong and Asia versions, English voices, not just English text, English voices. And yes, English text for all the text in the game, from what I've heard. And I even heard the English voices from myself when one of my friends from across the States actually imported the game himself on a Hong Kong account on his PlayStation and listened to it for himself. And he was streaming it not too long ago, and so I saw the clip of it and I just could not believe my ears. I didn't want to believe my ears, but it's true.
Got it! Got it!
The Asian versions of Granblue versus have the English fucking voices. Those motherfuckers, man. I could not believe it. I was truly upset when I found that myself. This was like a couple hours ago, and then I was having a discussion with another friend of mine, and I mean, of course, there are still reasons that are unknown, but apparently it's not really the English side of things, but the French side of things. Looks like there were some bad logistics or something like that. There's some going on somewhere in Europe, let's just say. And so the Western side of things probably was, that was why they delayed that region for the release. I don't know. It's just this whole thing has really left a sour taste in my mouth, and I did not know how I should feel about it. Of course, being angry is one way, but as much as I would like to be angry about it, I just, I don't know, and that's why I am trying to kind of like stay calm, stay cool, and I instead thought about what I'm gonna do about this whole thing. So, I was starting to see the clips of the combos and all the setups and all the things you can do in the game and the damage and stuff like that. People who imported the game for themselves were saying, "Oh man, this and that and stuff like that," and that's been really tempting me to import the game myself. I don't have neither the Japanese nor Hong Kong account for myself. So I would have to do some things to get that going. Yes, of course I can look up on the internet, but I really wanted to make sure that there were things that I wanted to know being answered, which is like, oh, do I need to have a separate PlayStation Plus just to play online and stuff like that? And my other friend of mine that I kind of mentioned earlier, told me about it. Energamma, just to make it a little easier for me. Told me that it pretty much works like family sharing. So let's say you buy game A, or let's just say Granblue on the Hong Kong account, and then you would just game share to your main account, and then you can download from there or play it from there essentially, and you can play that version with your PlayStation Plus. So that's pretty much how it works. And so as I really thought about it, I kind of weighed my options and stuff like that, and I did some thinking, and I came to the conclusion that as much as I would like to kind of dip in on this early myself, like some other people are, I think I'm actually going to hold off on it and wait till the Western side of things gets released, which is March 3rd, I believe, early March, and so I'm just gonna wait, just like a good majority of the people. I think there are just like that few who really wanted to, get their hands on it, just to like get the feel of it already, just so they can like get ahead of the competition. And it sucks because speaking of getting ahead in competition, I think Granblue Fantasy is a part of the Arc World Tour as well, which is the tournament that will be pretty much be holding Granblue Fantasy, or Granblue Fantasy Versus, and so which means that in a way Japan and all the other Asian regions are gonna have the game ahead of time, ahead of the Western regions in a way. Which sucks because, there could have been a lot of reasons, the localization, the dubbing took too long, or there was some things that kind of happened with this region or this country or whatever. Who knows? And so that's why I don't want to be as angry as I was earlier. I just don't know myself. Again, who the hell knows what was the contributing factor as to what delayed the game really. So initially I thought it was the English dubbing, that process was taking too long or something like that. So if that was the case, they should have just released the sort of that Japanese version with the English text and get the English voices later on. But because of the Hong Kong version pretty much exploiting what's really what, now who knows what is the reason. And I hope, but probably not gonna happen, but I do hope that Cygames and or Exceed do come out with some sort of statement as to what happened, and what is gonna happen from there on, stuff like that. So I'm actually gonna be patient about it and just wait until March 3rd, so that way I can get the game in my hands with my Western account, and I can keep it all in one system and stuff like that, so I don't have to go through the hassle of getting the Hong Kong version, because from what I've heard, the Japanese gift cards for PSN and even the Hong Kong one was selling out, but Energamma was telling me, PlayAsia keeps them in stock. So if I did proceed with that, that would have been my go-to, I guess. But like I said, I'm gonna wait on it. I do have things that will keep me occupied anyway, as much as I would like to dip my feet early on, like a number of people are. Even Energamma's doing it. But anyway, I don't know, man. Like, I would not want to double dip. I don't like that idea. I want to stick with the Western version to really, say the message as to, hey, we want these games to come here, sort of in a way, to come out here simultaneously. We show that the Western side also wants these games in their hands, officially of course, without having to import the freaking thing. So, so yeah, again, it's gonna come out March 3rd, and I'm gonna wait till then. So, because I do have some things to do, there is a certain game I do want to play in February, which is not actually a new game, but you'll probably find out maybe later on, or when I stream it later on. But yeah, so pretty much kind of repeat what I've said, or to sum things up. Yes, the delay on the Western release of Granblue Fantasy Versus sucks really hard. It's very unfortunate that Exceed Games and also Side Games have to probably get some blame from the fans and stuff like that. From all the angry fans that have been looking forward to it and stuff like that. I mean, who knows who's at fault and who is to blame, really. So I don't know, man. But the game is coming out a month later. It could have been worse. It's not like it's like 6 months later or something like that. That's happened before with other games. So that is it from me for Granblue Fantasy Versus. I still look forward to it despite the faults that have been, going through, the unfortunate circumstances surrounding the game, especially with the release date for the Western region of things. I will wait patiently, and I will be a happy customer eventually, along with the rest of the Western region that didn't import the game. There is one last thing I am pretty concerned for the game, especially for the Western side of things, is the DLC. Because I swear to fucking God, there will be a lot of angry and furious people, probably like myself, taking it to Twitter or making a video about it. But I hope and pray to God that does not happen. That the DLC will be simultaneous, come out at the same time for everyone. That way, at least then things will smooth out by then. But I think right now, though, even if I do get the game myself, the online, from what I've heard, is not that great. From what I've heard, so maybe it is probably a good idea for me anyway to wait anyway, just so that way by the time the Western side of things come out, all the initial bugs and all that stuff have been ironed out, hopefully. But the netcode has been pretty infamous when it came to the older Arc Sys games. Hopefully this could be a start. I hope this is not part of that sort of archaic sort of netcode practices and stuff like that from Japanese companies and stuff. But anyways, I will definitely wrap it up here with for the Hawke Talk. So thank you guys so much for tuning in for this Hawke Talks video with me talking about the release date debacle with Final Fantasy Granblue Fantasy Versus for the Western side of things anyway. So if you have any comments relating to the game, if you guys still look forward to it, have you imported the game yourself, if you have any insight as to what's going on with Exceed / side games, please leave me down below. Anything related for the subject or to the subject, leave me down below. Love to check them out, definitely. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe for more videos like this, and hit the bell for that notification. Make sure to hit all, so that way you'll know when I release these videos and such. So again, I'm gonna wait patiently for the game to come out in March. I still look forward to it, and I hope when it comes to the DLC, that to come out simultaneously. But not only that, but when it comes to characters, I really do hope Silva makes it in there. She's my absolute favorite. She's the bae for me, and that's that. So really, that's it from me on Granblue Fantasy Versus stuff. I'll see you guys in the next video. Sean out.